Here with Concordia head softball coach Todd LaVelle to preview the 2016 season coming up quickly as we record this interview, even with close to a foot of snow on the ground here in Seward. First, when you look back at last season, there were certainly ups and downs. What did it take for the team to kind of pull together and win the GPAC tournament after you had some struggles during the regular season?
Oh, Jake, I think there was a lot of things that I probably figured into it, but one of the things that comes to mind is I've had a chance to reflect on everything after several months, and you always want to kind of look in the mirror and what you could have done different as a coach or what you could have done different with the team. And I think a lot of it does play a part on myself as the head coach and the director and kind of the team leader. And I felt like last year I put a lot of pressure on the girls, and we had a lot of success the year prior, my first season, and on paper I thought maybe we had a little bit better talent. So, as a leader, I think I put some undue pressure on them. So looking back, once I decided, hey, let the girls play, let the girls have some fun. We're all in this game because we love it. I think they started playing a lot looser and having the fun. So, that had a big part of it, obviously. And then, success breeds success. And when they started rolling in the GPAC tournament, it was hard to stop them. So there was a couple factors. That's for sure.
What kind of confidence and energy did that run at the end of the season kind of inject going forward into the off season?
Well, it obviously quite a bit. I mean, one, you get to play about 3 weeks longer than a lot of teams, so you get to gel as a team and play better competition and see what regionals or nationals are all about. So that helps, but obviously having a number of girls returning, everybody was looking forward to coming back this year, and I think you got to witness that a little bit in the fall season. The confidence level was high, and so as we embark here in just about a week on our first game, I think you'll see that it definitely will come through for us. Starting out our first game.
You do have a nice group of returning players, but a lot of the players are new, almost 2/3 of the roster. How have you approached the off season, considering you do have quite a bit of overhaul?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did that this fall. We continue. It's a work in progress, a daily of getting the team to mesh and bond. There's no doubt that the talent's there. It's up to us as coaches not only to get them to mesh and bond, but to develop the skill set, and that's what we've really done. We have 4, possibly 5 freshmen that could play key roles, and we got a couple junior college transfers that can play key roles in the varsity level. So, they're going to have to mature throughout the year. I think you've got to see that with Michaela Woodward last year, where she was a very talented young lady and pitcher, and just as the year went on, she just got better and better. And so that we're just going to have some patience with the team and understand that just each inning they play, they're just going to get better and better.
Yeah, how big of a factor will their development be in how far this team goes?
Well, it's totally the key. I mean, right now, if we played tomorrow, there's a good chance that 3 freshmen would start, and some pretty key positions. We could have a freshman at shortstop, we could have a freshman at second base, and possibly one in the outfield. So obviously those are key components. So they played a high level of high school ball, but on the same token, it is a big jump. So they will have to continue to develop throughout the year and know how to handle everything, whether it be the rigors of schoolwork and travel and trying to manage all that, and just the level of play that we're gonna set forth on doing.
You have 2 all-conference players returning that were either first or second team last year. How impressed were you first off with Julia Tyree's development as a hitter? She had a big season.
You know what, I knew about Julia even as a freshman. coming here and following Concordia, and then when I got to step in here and coach her as a sophomore, she's been a special player from day one, and not only is she a great player on the softball field, but just a great human being. So she's been fun to watch, and she will no doubt have another great year, and she'll be a leader on and off the field like she always has, and again we put a lot of pressure on her. We have moved her to first base this year, and she's adapted well. And obviously with her bat, she's one of the best in the conference. So definitely a special young lady.
And you touched on Michaela Woodward, who had a really nice freshman year, pitched every inning during the GPAC tournament. What allowed her to have success right away?
Well, she's a very confident young lady, and I think that helps. And you know what? We've never tried to take that away from her. And she's done well, just being that confident person. But she's also got a lot of talent, and she works extremely hard. She may not tell it, but she does a lot of things behind the scenes to get herself in pitching shape, and works with the pitching coach on all of her breaks. So she does a lot of things that we don't even ask of her, just to become at that high level. And one thing that impressed me with her is she knew she had most of the role, and as a freshman, that's a lot of weight on her shoulders. So I think this year it will help her that we have Kylie Harbst and Amanda that will come in and help alleviate some of that pressure. So I just look for a bigger and a better year out of her. But on that same token, she's a competitor, and she wants to be the number one pitcher, and she has other two pitchers that are pushing her. So I think that's just going to be a win-win for the team with all of them.
Now, because you did have a lot of starting position players from 2015 that have moved on, plenty of spots up for grabs. You mentioned a couple of freshmen possibly in the infield. Starting with the infield, what might we see besides Julia Tyree at first base?
I think we're going to move Julia Tyree to first. She's going to fill in for a good Molly Madison that we lost last year, and we have a very quick middle infield, and I think maybe that's what we were lacking a little bit last year. Some girls that are capable of getting to those balls hit up the middle. So those will be good. We have Autumn Owens that was in a tight race throughout the year with another freshman, Michaela Keene, at third, but Autumn's a certain real competitor too, and I think she's won that role. So she'll probably be starting at third base as a sophomore, and then we got another red shirt. You did a story about Taylor Huff that she'll go back to catcher, where she played for me in high school, was an all-state catcher. So she will assume that role. I don't want her to catch every game. That's hard on a catcher. So, Dayana Mendoza will come out of the outfield to help with that position. Outfield will probably be, again, Dayana. She's a 3-year starter in left field. And then a junior college transfer, Megan Reppert, will be in center field. And right field's still up for grabs. And we got 3 competing for the job. We have a freshman, and a Maddie Fausk, and Nicole Dobenecker, a transfer senior, and then Bree LaBelle, another transfer senior. So, and then we have probably a handful of girls I'll still push them and still have the opportunity to crack the varsity lineup. So nothing's set in stone, and that's what we're going to use Texas and our spring break trip to kind of see.
Dayana Mendoza's going into her 3rd year as a starter, as you mentioned. What is her potential if she reaches it?
Dayana Mendoza is definitely a game player. I think we got to see that firsthand when we played Oklahoma City last year, and the number 1 team in the nation down at Nationals. She rises to the occasion, and she can be a game changer, and I've definitely seen a lot better attitude out of her. Her work ethic's better than it ever has been, and I think Dayana knows that now. And hopefully that freshman year is over, and that sophomore kind of in between year, and she's ready to have a breakout season her junior year. So I look forward to watching her play as well this year.
You've talked a little bit about the pitching staff already a little bit. How important was it to find some more arms to maybe give Woodward a little bit of rest?
It's crucial. I mean, in baseball and softball, we all know it starts in the circle, and we're no different. And so you'd go back to Michaela Woodward as 20 wins last year. I mean, that's pretty amazing when she had to throw a lot of innings to get there, and probably through most of our tough games where she's going to have Kylie and AJ to help her out and be a lot more fresh when it comes down the stretch. But all of them will do whatever's asked of them. That's what makes them so neat. And if we ask them to throw 2 games in a row, they'll do it. But right now in the preseason and then just the 3 weeks of practice we've had indoors, their balls are really moving, and that you could see the smiles on their face, and they're ready for some different competition than just our own team.
Talent-wise, how would you compare this roster to the first 2 that you've had at Concordia?
Well, hopefully it's better. I mean, I always hate to say that because each year you feel like you have a good nucleus of players, but obviously through given a couple years to recruit, I really feel like this on paper it could be the best out of the 3. But there's so many different components that go into making up a great team. I mean, they have to bond, they have to gel as a team, they have to overcome the obstacles that are going to face them, and we'll have some, there's no doubt, every team does, and how they handle those obstacles are yet to be seen, but I sure do like what I see so far. I'm excited. I've been excited since the fall. I've kind of allowed myself up to this week to really start thinking the magnitude of what could happen, and I think this team, what makes them maybe unique is they all have individual goals, and they all want to maybe hit 400, or they want to have the home run record, or whatever the case might be. But at the end of the day, they all also understand that there's only one stat that matters, and that's wins and losses. And so as a coach, that's really gratifying to see that's their common goal is the wins.
Let's come down to your team in Morningside in the GPAC championship the last 2 years in the tournament. How do you feel like you stack up with the conference, and how do you see that race playing out?
Well, obviously, I think I sat here about a year ago and maybe a little too confident and said I thought we were one of the best teams, but I think that's part of our job as the coach to think you have one of the best teams. So I'm going to say we're right up there. Any given day, anybody can beat anybody, but I feel like we can beat anybody in the nation. And the GPAC, obviously, Doane got the nod. They had 11 first place votes, and one of those was mine. And they're returning a lot of players. But on the same token, when we played them, we left bases loaded 3 different times. It was 1 less out, and played a heck of a game. Just didn't get the win. So again, I think we can play with everybody. But what we have to do a better job this year is bringing our A game every time we take the field, and I didn't think we did that last year. I think we might have taken some innings off, took some games off, maybe played to our competition. So that is one thing that we've stressed is, hey, we're in it, let's win it, let's play 7 innings, let's just not take not even 1 pitch off. So hopefully if we do that, we'll be there at the end with the Morningside, Doane, Northwestern, Hastings. So